Every year at the end of the year, you reliably hear people say things like, this year went so fast, what did I even do this year? This year has flown by. And I feel like that's a sign that you could do next year even better. Your job is to make your years as memorable, as interesting, as moment-filled as possible. So in this video, I want to talk about how to create your best year yet in terms of creating your most memorable, interesting year yet. This is all about how to find more opportunities to create moments so that when you look back at your next year, you're thinking like, wow, I did so much this year. It was filled with so many good moments. It was so memorable. Chances are when you're looking on your last year, you're not remembering the in-between stuff, the average stuff that filled your days. You're remembering the moments, the flashes of memorable things that happened. The authors of The Power of Moments call these your flagship moments. So you've got the highs, the really exciting things, the happy things that happened. You've got the pits, the lows, the crappy things that happened, and then you've got the transitions. So if any big transitions happen in your year, like moving to a new job or moving houses, those are the big moments that you're going to remember in your life. They also talk about becoming a creator of moments by taking advantage of a few key elements like boosting the sensory appeal, breaking the script, moments of pride, moments of connection, as well as a whole range of other things. And that's sort of what I want to concentrate on in this video. How to get intentional, take advantage of those things, create more moments in your year, and create a year that matters. A year full of moments and memories. This video was brought to you by Audible, the platform that actually enabled me to listen to the audiobook that inspired this whole video, The Power of Moments by Chip and Dan Heath. I'll talk a little bit more about Audible later, but if you do want to get a 30-day free trial where you can listen to one audiobook and 2 Audible originals, you can do that using the link in the description below, audible.com/michelleb, or text michelleb to 500-500. So the first thing that you want to do to create your best year yet, to plan in more memorable moments into your year, is to become the planner. Become the person that's like, hey, let's do this. Why don't we try this? I found this fun thing that we could do. You want to be that person. I feel like everyone shies away from being that person because it's effort, but the reality is you can wait for fun moments to come your way, or you can be the person that makes them happen. So maybe on a monthly basis, you look at the next month and you go, okay, what are the fun, memorable things that I can plan into my month ahead? And when you're planning in your memorable moments, you want to consider how you can make it a peak moment. So a peak moment is a high moment. It's the moment that you'll remember the year after and the year after that. And to create peak moments, there are 3 elements that you can concentrate on: breaking the script, doing things a little differently, boosting sensory appeal, and raising the stakes. So rather than just doing your standard catch up for dinner on a Saturday night with a friend, do things differently. Break the script. Do a movie night at your house, and even that has a script, so do that a little differently. So instead of watching the movie inside, take it outside and get all the cozy bean bags and blankets and make a real time of it. The way that Chip and Dan Heath put it is you want to break the expectations about the experience. So break the script. Every common social event has a script. You want to do it differently. And then you want to boost sensory appeal. So sensory appeal is like visual, touch, taste, sound, all of that. So maybe you want to actually make your movie night a themed movie night. So you have themed cupcakes and you have a themed candle in the background that smells appropriate to the movies that you're watching. You have lights going, there's mood lights happening. Then maybe you want to raise the stakes. So raising the stakes is just creating some kind of productive pressure. So chuck in a card game or a bingo for the movies, something along those lines to raise the stakes of your event. And it doesn't have to be planning events, it can just be planning one-on-one catch-ups. Just think through those 3 things. How can you break the script for this thing that you want to plan and you want to go and do? How can you boost sensory appeal? And how can you raise the stakes? The second thing that you can do to create your best year yet is to actually recognize the people in your life more. So researchers have found that one of the most effective ways to elevate your levels of happiness for a pretty long term is to practice serious gratitude. So I'm not talking writing down your 3 gratitudes every day, although that's also great if you're genuinely feeling grateful as you write them down. down. I'm talking more along the lines of taking some time, maybe an hour, maybe two, to write a long letter of gratitude to someone in your life that has done something that has profoundly impacted you, and then hand delivering it to them. The elevation in your happiness from doing that activity can actually exist up to a month later. But there are also really simple moments of recognition as well that will still have a huge impact, not just on you, but also on the other individual. So Chip and Dan Heath did a bunch of research. They asked a heap of people what some defining moments in their career were. And most often, those moments were really simple moments of recognition. Things like, I organized the whole back room and my manager took me aside to commend me for that. That was a really memorable, profound moment in a person's career. Or a client was so impressed with me that they asked to speak to my boss. So moments of recognition just done on the fly that made a big difference in people's lives. So make a point to start recognizing other people more often for their behaviors and for their positive traits. I'm sure that you yourself can look at the past year and remember some of the biggest compliments that you've been given. Oftentimes compliments and nice things that people say to us stick with us for a really long time. I can remember compliments that I was given like in my first job in high school, and I'm pretty sure that you would be the same. Those things stick out to us, they're peaks. And when you recognize others, not only do you elevate their life, you also elevate yours a little. It's a bit of a selfish thing, but done in a good way, hopefully, because you get impacted when you give other people kind words and kind feedback. I'm sure that also you can remember the kind words that you've given in the last year and it made you feel good to give someone that compliment. You created your own little peak. The next way to create your most amazing year yet is to create your discomfort list. I've talked about the discomfort list before in a video that I created on 6 lists to make your life amazing, I believe. And the discomfort list is basically a list of things that you can do to stretch yourself. So you don't want to put yourself into a panic zone, but you don't want to stick in your comfort bubble all year as well, because that's not going to create amazing, memorable moments for you in the next year. You want to create a discomfort list filled with little things that you can do to stretch yourself, get out of your comfort zone, and do interesting stuff in the new year that you're going to remember. So one of the most powerful moments that they acknowledged in the audiobook Moments was moments of insight. So times when people have thought like, oh, I actually can do this traveling thing on my own. I actually am capable. Or times when you've gone through a really rough patch and you realize that you're capable of handling anything that comes your way. Those are moments of insight. And you can only create those moments of insight when you put yourself in situations that are hard, that are difficult. So in the next year, commit to creating your own discomfort list and start ticking things off your list to create a more memorable year ahead. The next way to create a more memorable year ahead, and it's a really actionable one, is to switch up your date nights. This applies even if you don't have a partner. Usually you're going to have one person that you hang out with. It could be your mom, it could be a friend, it could be a partner. There is someone that you intentionally catch up with on a weekly basis. So when it comes to those regular catch-ups that you have, move back to breaking the script. What are the things that you usually do and how can you step out of them? Maybe instead of always going to that one restaurant, you try out a whole list of different restaurants and you start ticking them off one by one. Instead of always getting takeout, get out and about. So make a point to get takeout, but take it into nature every time. Or you could even switch between who plans the nights. So maybe one time your partner plans it, one time you plan it, or one time your best friend plans it and one time you plan it, and you keep it a secret. Add some surprise into it to break the script. So Chip and Dan Heath actually talked about a study done on 2 groups of couples that were told to do date nights for 10 weeks. So one group were told, yep, go on date nights. So if they were the kind of couple that usually would go to movie and dinner, then they would just keep on doing that for 10 weeks. And the other group were told to break the script. They were told to do something different than they would normally do. So if they're usually the kind of couple that do takeout and a night at home, they would go out to the cinema and watch a movie totally different to what they usually might watch. Or if they're the kind of couple that sits and reads together, they would go and do rock climbing together. And unsurprisingly, the biggest increase in relationship satisfaction was in the novelty group, the people who did things differently on a weekly basis and got intentional about trying new things. Because you're trying new experience together, you might be getting moments of insight like, hey, I can rock climb. You're breaking the script and sharing that moment with someone else and creating connection. There's so many things raveled up in planning more interesting date nights on a weekly basis. The next thing that you can do to create more moments in your year is to take part in some group projects. So if you're in university or you're in even high school, you know that group projects are clearly the worst when you're working with people that you don't really know, don't really care about the outcome. But if you're working on a group project and it's something that you care about, you're working with people that you like, it can actually be a really great way to create more memorable moments because there's so many elements of great moments in a group project. Usually you're tapping into discomfort, so you're gonna get moments of insight. You're breaking the script because this isn't something that you do regularly. You're creating connection because you're working on something with these people that you probably already love or care about. There are so many things rolled up into a group project that makes it more of a peak of your year. So create a project with your family, with your partner, with your friends, with your best friend. It could be a fitness project, it could be a home redesign project, it could be a decluttering project, it could be a garage sale project. There are so many projects that you could tackle. Just look at what your goals are and how they align with the people around you and how you could work together to achieve them. The next way to create more moments in your year is to create more milestones. So in the audiobook Moments, they talked a lot about memorable moments that were made up of moments of pride and milestones. So you can probably think through all of the milestones in your life, things like turning 18, winning a championship, graduating high school, getting your master's degree, running your first 5K, starting your first project, getting your first job, getting your first promotion, whatever your milestones may be, big or small, you usually remember them. These are defining moments in your life. So what you actually want to do is multiply your milestones wherever possible. So one thing that they do really well in video games is they create multiple finish line before you reach the end ultimate finish line, multiple moments of celebration, milestones. And you can kind of do the same thing with your goals in life. So maybe your 2020 goal for the first 12 weeks is to become a better people person. Create a bunch of milestones that you could hit along the way that you can celebrate as you work your way towards that goal. So maybe a milestone would be going to coffee with a new person, making conversation with 20 new people, adding 10 new people on social media that you met in person, or having someone tell you like, hey, you're a really good conversationalist. All of those are totally milestones worth celebrating, and they also give you motivation along to achieving your ultimate goal of becoming a better people person. So get intentional about creating specific milestones that you can celebrate throughout your year so that you have more moments of pride and more milestones to celebrate. This video was brought to you by Audible, the platform that enabled me to listen to the book that inspired this whole video, The Power of Moments by Chip and Dan Heath, which I listened to while I was cleaning, which is one of the better things about Audible. You can listen to audiobooks when you're driving, when you're cleaning, when you are working out, all of the places. Audible also has the world's largest selection of audiobooks and audio entertainment in general, including Audible originals. So if you're ever like listening to a podcast, you're listening to an author and you're really interested in what they have to say, you want to listen to their book, you can just hop on Audible and you can listen to their book straight away. You can also get access to Audible originals, which are scripted stories, there are audio documentaries, there are podcasts that you can't access anywhere else. Audible keeps you informed, inspired, and entertained. You can listen to a whole lot more stories with Audible and always be part of the conversation. And with the convenient Audible app, you can listen anytime, anywhere, and on any device. So mobile, Alexa enabled, Bluetooth, all of the devices. Audible members get more than ever before, so every month you get to choose one audiobook regardless of price and 2 Audible originals from a fresh selection. Members also stay motivated and inspired with unlimited access to fitness and meditation selections. And you can sign up for free updates from places like the New York Times, the Washington Post, the Wall Street Journal that are delivered for free to the app. If you get a title that you don't love, it's really easy to simply exchange the title. And also all of your downloads you get to keep forever, so you can listen to them over and over again if they were really impactful. You can start listening to Audible and listen to The Power of Moments for free using the 30-day free trial using my link down below, audible.com/michelleb, or text Michelle B to 500 to get started on your 30-day free trial, where you will get to access 1 audiobook for free and 2 Audible originals for free. If you liked this video, you might also like my video on how to create a more interesting life. I'm gonna have that linked on the screen and I'm gonna have it linked down below. I appreciate you so much and I will see you soon.